Floating at the edge of the Calorian Nebula, it served as a neutral trade hub for 17 species across the outer spiral. Merchants, diplomats, wanderers, all passed through its shimmering docking rings without incident. The station had not seen violence in 40 cycles. That record ended the moment Ethan and his crew boarded Gate 7. Ethan was a Sorvok, tall, six-limbed, with bioluminescent patches along his neck that pulsed a deep crimson when he was hungry. And right now, they pulsed like warning lights. He commanded a raiding party of 8, 2 Greth heavies built like armored fortresses, a pair of lease cell scouts with 4 eyes each, and an assortment of contract mercenaries from 3 different star systems. They had studied the station's manifest for weeks. They knew exactly who was aboard, what cargo was valuable, and which passengers would fetch ransom. Their primary target was simple: a lone traveler. No weapons registered. No combat training on file. A small biometric signature. Traveling economy class, alone, with minimal luggage. Human female. Designation: Rose. Easy mark, Ethan had told his crew during the briefing. Humans are soft. Fragile. No natural armor, no venom, no echolocation. Their homeworld is a paradise: mild temperatures, low gravity, predictable weather. They practically evolved to be prey. None of his crew disagreed. Everyone in the outer spiral knew humans were the galaxy's most harmless sapients. They found Rose in the station's lower commissary, sitting alone at a corner table. She looked exactly as advertised, small by most species standards, perhaps 1.7 meters, with dark hair pulled back and eyes the color of deep ocean, a shade that existed on very few worlds. She was eating something warm from a bowl and reading a datapad, completely unbothered by the noise of the crowd around her. Ethan approached with 2 of his heavies flanking him, weapons visible but not raised. He preferred psychological pressure first. It was cheaper than actual violence. Human, he said, his translator clicking the word into standard. You will come with us. Quietly. Rose looked up from her datapad. She didn't flinch. She didn't gasp. She didn't even drop her spoon. She simply looked at Ethan with those ocean-deep eyes, then at the 2 Greth flanking him, then back at Ethan. No, she said. Ethan blinked his secondary eyelids. You misunderstand the situation. I don't think I do. She set her spoon down carefully, as if she had all the time in the universe. You're Sorvok. Those 2 behind you are Greth Hulkcast, based on the cranial ridges. You've got at least 3 more positioned near the exits. She glanced over her shoulder without turning her head, just her eyes. 1 by the service corridor, 2 near the main door. You've blocked the emergency override panel with your largest body. Textbook suppression formation. Ethan's neck patches shifted from crimson to a confused violet. You're a tourist, he said. Rose finally stood. She was shorter than he expected, but the way she moved wasn't the way prey moved. It was something else. Something that a more experienced predator might have recognized immediately. She moved economically. Every gesture deliberate. No wasted motion. I'm a xenobotanical researcher, she said. I study plants. I've been doing fieldwork on Varric 9 for the last 8 months. Ethan had heard of Varric 9. Barely. Some research outpost on the fringe. Then you are no threat, he said, and reached for her arm. Rose moved. It wasn't fast the way a lease cell was fast, that blurring, insectal speed. It was something different. A horrible, inevitable kind of fast. Like watching a rock slide. Like realizing too late that the thing you thought was sleeping had never been sleeping at all. Ethan's reaching limb was redirected, not blocked, redirected, and suddenly he was off balance, and the table was there, and his face met it with a sound that silenced the entire commissary. The larger of the 2 Greth heavies lunged forward. Rose dropped low, let the massive body sail over her, and drove both hands into the joint behind its knee, the weak point on Greth anatomy, known only to those who had either studied them academically or fought them in close quarters. The Greth crashed into a food station and brought 3 shelves down with it. The second Greth charged with more caution, raising a stun baton. Rose caught the baton on the downswing with her forearm, and didn't flinch at the impact, which by all physiological rights should have shattered the bone. It didn't. The baton cracked against dense muscle and compact skeleton, and Rose twisted it free and broke it across her knee in one smooth motion. Greth bone density is about 4 times human average, she said, almost conversationally, while the mercenary stared at her in naked horror. But human muscle-to-weight ratio, especially in field-trained individuals, is genuinely unusual. We developed it running. We're persistence hunters, you know. We don't sprint. We follow. For days if we have to. By now the 3 mercs near the exits had drawn weapons. Rose sighed. She grabbed the stunned Greth beside her by the harness and used him as a moving shield, advancing toward the service corridor exit. The mercenary stationed there fired twice, both shots absorbed by his own unconscious colleague's armor, and then Rose was on him. And he discovered that a creature who evolved on a world where everything was trying to kill it develops a very specific relationship with pain. Specifically, they learn to function through it. The shot that grazed her left shoulder would have dropped most sapients. Rose's stride didn't break. Her expression didn't change. She caught the mercenary's weapon hand, heard something snap, and relieved him of his sidearm in a motion that took less than a second. She pointed it at the remaining 2 near the main door. "I'd prefer not to shoot anyone," she said. "But I want to be transparent with you. I will if you make it necessary. My pain tolerance is fairly high. I spent 3 months on Varric 9 before anyone told me the local flora secreted a mild neurotoxin. I developed an immune response. It was not a comfortable experience." She paused. "Earth's plants also try to kill us. So do our animals, our weather, our tectonic activity, our microbes, and our own immune systems. I want to be honest with you, I've had more threatening mornings." The 2 mercenaries looked at each other. They looked at the 3 colleagues on the floor. They put their weapons down. Ethan came back to consciousness on the commissary floor. His neck patches had gone completely white, the Sorvok color of deep, biological alarm. Rose was crouched beside him, hands folded loosely, waiting. "You said humans are from a paradise world," she said. He stared at her. "Earth has 7 major tectonic plates in constant motion. We have hurricanes, tornadoes, and blizzards. Our ocean is full of things that evolved over 400 million years to eat other things. We share our world with creatures that can bench press our cars. Our children's stories are full of monsters." She stood. "We don't come from a paradise. We come from a challenge. We made it this far not because our world was kind to us, but because we are absolutely impossible to discourage." She picked up her datapad from the table, somehow still intact, and tucked it under her arm. "Station security is on their way. I'd recommend staying on the floor." She looked at Ethan one last time, and something crossed her face that wasn't quite pity and wasn't quite amusement. It was the expression of someone who has seen this misunderstanding before. "Next time you pick a mark," she said, "check which planet they're from." 3 cycles later, the incident report filed by Varith Station Security included a notation that had never appeared in 40 years of documentation. 8 armed hostiles neutralized by single unarmed passenger. Species, human. Classification review recommended. Attached was a secondary flag, automatically generated by the station's threat assessment AI, which had spent 48 hours re-indexing everything it knew about humanity. The flag read, "Deathworld origin, reclassify, extreme caution." Somewhere on the station, in a modest passenger cabin, Rose was already asleep. She had field notes to write in the morning. The nebula outside her porthole burned in colors that had no names in English. She didn't dream about the fight. She dreamed about the plants on Varric 9, the ones that were almost poisonous enough to be interesting. Almost. Earth doesn't create survivors. It creates something worse, beings who look at a galaxy full of predators and think, oh, is that all?